Joining us now is Dan Primack. He is the business editor, of course, at Axios. eToro, Dan, went pretty well, okay? Robinhood competitor, but that's kind of a unique thing in a hot space. Overall, how is the market looking?
It's looking more promising now than it has really all year. You do, as you said, you've got a bunch of issuers coming out. It's in a hot space. I will say a lot of the companies that we were expecting in the first half of 2025 were in fintech, not all Robinhood competitors, but Chime, for example, is a neobank. That's been a sector, and we've been expecting a bunch of digital health. You mentioned Hinge. Omada just filed this week. So it's looking promising, but there's still a massive pipeline of companies.
Yeah, you know, it's funny, too, because rates, like we just talked about with housing, Dan, they've come back up. I mean, they did dip for like 2 weeks, and now they've popped back up. Is this like a reaction to that little dip, or is this just people saying, okay, well, it's going to be 7% or whatever on mortgages, 4.5% of the 10-year. We might as well start getting deals done no matter what.
I think it's that. Well, look, a lot of these companies that we're talking about here, eToro, Chime, Hinge, et cetera, these companies were all planning to go public before Liberation Day, before the tariffs. They were all geared up. These are companies that should have been public in early to mid-April. That was their time frame. Then the tariffs hit. The markets got incredibly volatile, so they all hit pause on absolutely everything. So now they're just gearing up again. What we haven't seen yet is the next big group of companies now filing to try to go. It's hard to price into the summer. Generally, companies try to do it before Memorial Day or then gear up for after Labor Day. So this might be kind of the last boom here, and everyone then starts looking kind of to the second half of Q3.
Yeah, and what could be the thing that turns it on its head? Would it be if Donald Trump sends out a social media post? It's like, you know what? Tariffs are back on, 145%. China's not willing to deal. You know, forget about it. Is that the risk?
It is. Look, and that's what happened, right? That's what happened in early April. Again,
yeah.
These companies, these are companies that were, in one case, on the road, and everyone just stopped. Yeah, look, nobody, the market has been actually good for IPOs over the last couple of years, even though everyone's been a little too scared to do it. The few who have gone out have done pretty well, but no company wants to price into a market that's going up, or down 2% in a day. It's kind of just a scary thing to price into.
It is. So let's, instead of asking what could go wrong, let's ask what might go right. It's Friday, Dan. What's the best case scenario?
The best case is that everybody starts going. You have this, we've been talking for almost a decade now about, this flood of unicorns. There are hundreds and hundreds of large, or at least highly valued private tech companies, private health companies that in theory should be going public. And that doesn't even include the groups that are owned by private equity firms that have been taken private, and going public is really the only exit for those private equity firms. The pipeline is absolutely huge. And if we get 5, 6, 7 of these that go kind of in a group, that's the sort of thing that moves momentum. These are herds. Companies don't like to be the only one out there. They like to feel, it's kind of like a hitter in a batting order. He likes to have some protection behind him. Same thing for IPOs. And so if you get a few of these that are successful, particularly in different sorts of industries, then I think you could start to see a flood. Venture capitalists are desperate to generate returns for their investors because their investors keep yelling at them for not producing cash.
They all kind of do. It's like what is it? Swans. It's a wedge of swans. Crows. It's a murder of crows. Like, what's a group of bankers called? Like, we got to come up with a name.
This I do not know. I mean, you're closer physically to them right now than I am, I think. But yeah, they absolutely go in herds. When they say the market is good or the market is bad, there's never a dissent in that.